What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark, your favorite blind film critic, and I'm doing another pilot review. This is Knuckles. This is actually episodes 1 and 2. It's a half-hour show, so I decided, you know what? I'll knock out the first 2 episodes for you guys. It's currently available on Paramount Plus. It's only a 6 episode event series, so I've watched a third of this series already for you guys. Um, and it's got audio description, so that's a good thing. And if you haven't heard the words audio description before, click subscribe so you can hear them more. We're trying to normalize the existence of audio description and accessibility for blind and low vision viewers like me. I have a film degree, didn't know I was going blind. Now I have a YouTube channel. Let's do that. Let's talk about it. So Knuckles is the limited TV series spin-off of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, based around the character of Knuckles, voiced by Idris Elba. In this spin-off, in the first episode, we do get sort of a really weird amalgamation of characters from the film that appear, because we get Sonic and Tails, which are, like a sort of like obvious, like, oh yeah, let's put this in there. A great way to sort of transition out of the movies and into a Knuckles series. But then Tika Sumpter shows up alone, which I thought was very odd. And they just sort of like, they're trying to explain why she's home alone. And I'm like, maybe we just didn't need Tika Sumpter at all. It feels weird that she's by herself, but she is. So it's weird. Very odd. And anyway, but yeah, that was the thought on that. But really, this is Knuckles, who decides, because he has no purpose in life and he's trying to figure out how to live on Earth. And he ends up taking Wade under his wing. So this is a huge boost to Adam Pally's character, who has just sort of been in the background of the first 2 movies. Adam Pally gets to have a huge role in something for 6 episodes as he does this buddy comedy with Knuckles, where he is obviously inept, but Knuckles is going to train him to be a badass, and that is the plot. But Adam Pally really just wants to win a bowling tournament, so that's his goal out of life, and we'll see what happens. I still got 4 episodes left. There's some weird like side organization and like hints of evil happening, and it's just sort of like poorly explained. It just kind of like pops up. There's just like these other people who want to capture Knuckles, and they're like, oh my god, he left Green Acres or Green Fields or Green, I can't remember what this place is called. I know I should be able to because I played Sonic the Hedgehog games my whole life. Green Hills, I think. But yeah, they just, Willoughby and someone else, and they have technology that's sort of like unexplained technology, and there's this guy that wants Knuckles captured, and it's really poorly explained in the first 2 episodes. I gotta be honest, these villains just come out of nowhere with very little explanation. And there's this, it just, the last time we see them, by the end of the episode, the second episode, they're just trying to sell how the person that they're supposed to give Knuckles to is super dangerous. I'm like, really? Could we explain this better? You've got 6 episodes. This is basically a 3-hour Knuckles movie. I feel like you have enough time to explain to us who the villain is and why we should care, instead of just introducing some people and being like, we're villains. We want Knuckles. Okay. Let's go. That's kind of what it just wants you to accept the fact that there are villains. Not interested at all. At all. I do not care. Interestingly, Stockard Channing, who I've thought about like recently, I've been like, what has Stockard Channing been up to? She appears at the end of the second episode for like 2 seconds, so she's obviously going to be in the third, because she's like the end of the second episode. Not really a spoiler, because they do say her name is in the episode, so if you're familiar enough with the original Rizzo from Grease, yeah, she's going to make an appearance uh, as somebody. Won't spoil that part, but yeah, she appears right at the end of the episode after they announce her name in the opening credits. Audio description here is okay. Um, it sounds oddly cheaply made. Like it's not quite recorded at a quality level. Like it's delivered to us in like mono or something like that. It's very weird, but the writing is fine. The dude narrating it's doing a good job, but there's something about it that just sounds cheap. It just sounds like Paramount Plus gave it to me in mono, which maybe they did. It just doesn't sound like it's of the same quality that the rest of the show is in. It's very odd. Anyway, but yeah, there are scenes. There's like a scene where like Wade is planning to do this like saving of Knuckles, and we see this whole action sequence, and it's so well described. There's a scene where he's getting all these items together, and he's getting all these random things, and he puts them down on the counter like very dramatic fashion, like boom, 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 and the audio description is just like on point with he he puts down a blank and a blank and a blank and a blank and a blank. It's just like every time he sets something down, it's just right in line with it. So um, it does a good job of describing the weird technology that these people are using that the film can't, well, not the film, but the series can't really even describe that well. So yeah, the only thing that I would say is you can't really go into Knuckles without being familiar with anything else because it does not do a good job of really explaining the universe, but also the show doesn't do a good job of explaining anything. It very much does not give two shits if you have not seen Sonic the Hedgehog. It's not targeting that audience. If you accidentally wandered into Knuckles, that's your fault. Screw you. Go away. They do not care. This is not trying to get a new audience at all. This is trying to play specifically to the fan base of Sonic the Hedgehog. It clearly, they don't try to explain any of the rules, any of the how we got here. It's just we're here, and hi, we're Sonic and Tails, and we're going to be here, and this is our boy Knuckles. He's going off on his own adventure. See ya. Just, it ties it in just enough, but it doesn't explain it. So if you haven't seen the movies and you're going to be like, oh, start with the Knuckles series. No. That's dumb. Don't do it. I can tell you this series will not explain itself to you. It doesn't even really explain itself within the confines of its own series, let alone the greater Sonic the Hedgehog universe. So it just it feels very much like an extension of that. So anyway, I shouldn't have to warn people, but I had like a debate about a long time ago when I was complaining that, about the latest Mission Impossible movie and how you don't have to wait to say Ethan Hunt. You can just say most sighted people would immediately recognize Tom Cruise. You don't have to describe what he looks like and then later on identify him as Ethan Hunt and fall by that stupid rule about like don't use their name until somebody else uses it in the film. It's like it's the seventh Mission Impossible film in the franchise. You know, I feel like if you're starting on film number 7, that's your problem, not mine. So let's acknowledge where we are in the franchise. And that's kind of what Knuckles does. Knuckles is like, listen, we made 2 movies. If you didn't watch them, that's on you, bro. They're available on Paramount Plus. Put them on, watch them, and then watch Knuckles. And I appreciate it. I applaud that. But it does introduce villains with a very little fanfare and doesn't really explain what it is that they want or need. And maybe it will by the end of the series, but I did not care at all. I was like, I don't know who this is, Willoughby, and the other one, I don't care. So, but that's it. Knuckles is fine. It's, I was a little bit more hyped for it when I thought it was a movie. Then I realized it was a series. I was like, why is it a series? So weird. But Um, I have no idea if they'll ever get a second season for this or not, or whether or not I feel like it's just a limited, it's just gonna happen. However, if it does amazing ratings for Paramount Plus, they might find a way to do a second Knuckles at some point. But we'll see. We're getting seasons of all sorts of limited series I never thought we'd ever see again. So, uh, you know, it's surprise. It could happen. But check out Knuckles. It's not the worst thing that's out there. It's not the best thing, but it's not the worst thing. I'm going to give Knuckles a B plus. So that's that. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.